Football Power Hour. Bruno Fernandes! It's free! It's Martial! Just waiting on the back post, surely he'll be found! And scores first! Premier League goal at Old Trafford!
Mason Mount. Oh my goodness. I was on mute. Thank you, Niall. Thank you. Big up to you now. Big up to Stephanie. Yo, Mason Mount is what I was so worried about that I did not even check my sound. My goodness, let's go ahead and talk about this real quick. I just want to say, my Chelsea friends, I know it is disappointing. It is very disappointing that Mason Mount left Chelsea. You know, your 6 year, he was your academy boy. But I think it's time to just kind of just let Mason lift the spell that you have on Mason Mount, because right now Mason Mount missed that sitter, and I saw him tense up. I saw him freeze right before he hit that ball, or tried to hit that ball, and he didn't calculate things right. And I hope it's not going to become one of those Timo Werner type of situations where he starts, letting his mind be faster than his body, when all he needs to do is just calm down, slow things down, So if at all there is a spell on Mason Mount, please lift it. That's all I want to say about that. Anyway, we're going to talk about Hojlund. We're going to talk about Garnacho. We're going to talk also a little bit about the game, just reflect on it. I appreciate you for joining me tonight. My name is Botswanapapi. This is the Football Power Hour. Let's get it. So, first things first. I just want to say being a Man United player, being a Man United supporter is not for the faint-hearted because Hojlund was unveiled today. But guess what? He is also injured. He came to us injured. This is so annoying. This is ridiculous, man. It's almost like we're cursed. It's almost as if we're cursed because right now we don't have a number 9. We're probably going to have to be forced to play the same way we played with Rashford through the middle when we all know Rashford struggles in the middle. He's best out on the left. At the same time, it's also a question on Rashford's development as well, because here's the other conversation that we had the other day that, Rashford has apparently reached his ceiling in terms of football IQ. Is that the reason why Rashford cannot transition from left wing into the middle? Because Thierry Henry did it. Thierry Henry was a barely known winger, in the Premier League. When he came into the Premier League, Arsene Wenger said, leave the wing, my friend. Let me teach you how to play and be a center forward. And Thierry Henry became the player that he became. So I'm wondering what is going on with Marcus Rashford. How are we going to optimize having Rashford and Garnacho in the same team? Because Garnacho today, we saw a player who's ready. He is ready to start, in my opinion. He's ready to just be versus Wolves. For me, right now, I say, when you're reflecting on just how every player performed, I think you'd say that Garnacho, he's definitely left preseason. He's arrived. Garnacho, he's definitely a player that's arrived. Marcus Rashford, he scored a goal, sure, but his performance is not sharp yet. Marcus Rashford, he's still a little bit rusty, He's right now at this rate, Marcus Rashford would give us about 11 goals, Premier League goals, and we need more than that. Matter of fact, he said it himself. He's setting the bar higher. He said he sees himself, he backs himself to be a 35 to 40 goal kind of forward. So if these are Rashford's words, these is not my words. This is not my expectation on him. This is his expectation on himself when he shared this with us. And I'm looking at that Rashford today, I'm saying he's getting less than half of that. I don't know. I may be wrong. Maybe other people saw it differently. Now, let me know if you think differently, because I see that. Thank you for helping me that I was on mute earlier on. I talked for a whole 3 minutes, but it's all good. We're here. Other than Rashford's evolution, that we need to sort of figure out how he fits into this puzzle, because for me, Garnacho, as I said, I don't want to repeat myself. As I said, Garnacho deserves to be developing and getting to know what it means to be a starter, because we saw him turn on like everything was almost on gear 5 for him. And I feel like the next phase for him is sort of learning how to recycle the ball, learning how to just time pick your moments when you're actually taking on a fullback, because I don't think the other forwards were ready. Like Antony should have buried that chance. Mason Mount should have buried a chance that Garnacho was created. Garnacho was cooking today. Garnacho had the big spoon. He had the big pot. He was making stew, but nobody really was there to really feast off of it until, obviously we got the goal that he provided. But there could have been at least 2 more goals or 3 more goals that Garnacho could have provided. But that was just my feeling and my assessment on Garnacho. It's just the next phase for him is knowing how to sparse out those attacks and make sure that each one of them really counts and each one of them is measured, because you want to also save yourself and be able to, give the same level of output on the next game. Anyway, the person I want to also talk about today is Andre Onana. Matter of fact, him and Dallo, I was like, Onana, what was that? Seriously, Onana. That was whack. Dallo too, your pass was whack. Like, what are they? This is a moment where the team now has to go through an adjustment period. Matter of fact, when you're doing this, you have to make mistakes for you to be able to learn and able to iron out the weaknesses in the system that you're trying to implement. So when you're playing from the back, Dallo now is going to be way more careful and way more intentional, and he won't make that pass across that's so lazy, that's easily interceptable like that. Also, Varane, I think he'll also make sure that he opens his space. There's going to be a big learning moment that, and I believe, you know what? This learning moment is not going to stop. This learning moment is going to keep going. It's going to happen in the Premier League. My question actually that I want to pose today, big up to Poe in the building. Poe says Garnacho was serving Argentinian steak, bro. How did they not eat that? He was this, Garnacho Bay, Alejandro. Oh, he was so, you know the thing about him, Poe, before I get distracted. Garnacho, when you look at how many starts he got in the Premier League last season, right? Garnacho got, I think, 21. He appeared 21 times in the Premier League. And from those 21 times, he actually came on as a substitute 16 times. So if my math is mathing, that's about 5 starts, really. 5 Premier League starts for Garnacho. We know that one of them was that Wolves game where Marcus Rashford was late. And then from there, Marcus Rashford came on in the second half. And then from there, Rashford was really the game changer. But Garnacho was still struggling. He was still, versus Wolves, he was still lively, still trying to be direct and trying to make things happen. But it was just too clunky, too muddy. And there was just never really a proper output. And Rashford was in sizzling form. And when he came in, he got one chance. The first chance, he buried it. So Garnacho now, that's his next evolution, right? And looking at how he had 5 starts last season, I think this season he should have minimum 12, 10 to 15 starts. That should be around the ballpark. Because and obviously get dropped if he's not bringing the goods, if he's not bringing the output. But at the end of the day, the boy looks like he's ready. The boy looks like he is next level. As we go back to the Onana conversation, Onana and Dallo, for me, everybody has I feel like right now, most of the people feel like earlier on in the watch along, we were like, Dallo, that was your fault, But Onana also has a responsibility, Onana also, just by definition, Onana has the responsibility to be the goalkeeper. And what did we see? That's what we saw. Onana sitting there, fixing his socks in the back of the net. Andre Onana, my African brother, he was right there singing, I Believe I Can Fly. You know that in the Premier League, guys, let's be real about it. In the Premier League, there's going to be these technicians. You do that versus Odegaard. Odegaard is scoring. You do that versus Kevin De Bruyne. De Bruyne is scoring. I'm really curious. How many goals like that will Onana concede in the season? Jarvis in the building. Jarvis, I see you, my brother. Happy Saturday. I am curious, Jarvis. Matter of fact, let me see if I can put in a little. This is going to be the first time I make a poll. Let's see if I can actually do it. 3. Let's say I think below 3 first is the first option, and then we'll say 3, and then maybe more than 3. Yeah, I'm really curious. I'm really curious. I want to know for real, how many goals will Onana concede in that way, in that fashion this season in the Premier League? What is your thought? Jarvis, get in there. Vote. You too, Poe. And it's one of those things where we know like we're gonna have to learn. We're gonna have to have a learning curve. And as I said, Lens is a very good yardstick of like a mid-table Premier League team or mid to high table Premier League team. I mean, obviously in the League they conceded only 4 goals and they finished, I think, 1 point just behind PSG, behind the team with MSN. You know what I'm saying? Lens is not it's a really good team actually. That I'd say equivalent of maybe Aston Villa or Brighton or Spurs. So this was a very good yardstick because we actually might play them in the Champions League. So there will be technicians like that. You do that versus Enzo Fernandez. Enzo Fernandez gets possession of the ball quickly, and Onana is not in his line. It's a goal. Kevin De Bruyne, it's a goal. Odegaard, it's a goal. Caicedo. The list goes on. Mo Salah, goal. You know what I'm saying? That's why I'm really curious about this question. But I also have to, just give the flowers to Onana for his brilliant post-match interview. This guy, he is him. He is the man. He is got the mentality. This were his words, actually. He's got this I take responsibility. He even called himself big man at the back. He said, I'm the big man at the back, so I take all the critics and all the pressure for me. This is unreal monster elite mentality. You could even see after that goal, there was no shaking the head. He just picked the ball up and got on with it. That's what I love about Andre Onana. And to be honest, it for me, in reflecting about that game, since we're sort of like also just talking about that goal, I think we're going to be conceding 1 or 2 goals every game. Honestly, I don't see a lot of clean sheets because Onana is the first goalkeeper to concede a bicycle kick on his preseason debut. He's the first goalkeeper to be lobbed at an Old Trafford debut. Andre Onana continues to break records and he will continue to break them. But I know that we will score more because he brings that attacking quality that we need. So high number of goals to concede, but also a high volume of attacks that will definitely lead to goals. There's no way it's just going to be attack after attack, and there's nobody finishing the dinner. I believe we'll have people who will be there to finish the dinner. So Poe says that's where Hojlund can capitalize. Yes. We want Rasmus to come feast. You know what I'm saying? Jarvis, let's get to your question. Jarvis says, what's your thoughts on Sancho's performance? He didn't come on as a right winger, but was more centrally positioned on the pitch alongside my Mount on the outside. Also, Pellistri is set to play tomorrow. Man, what are we doing with Pellistri? We're wasting that guy's... He's going to rot, avocados. If you have an avocado and it's ripe, you have to eat it. I'm not saying Pellistri is an avocado by any means, but I'm just saying there is a moment where you're going to be actually disadvantaging Pellistri by sending him with the kids to Dublin. Why are we getting that knock on? Is it Omar? What's his name? The kid that came in. His name is slipping my mind right now. But there's that kid who keeps on getting minutes that Ten Hag likes it, and I'm like, why is he getting minutes? And also Pellistri is right there. Why are we not utilizing Pellistri? Are we planning to really send him on loan? Is there if he goes to say whatever Luton Town, it's great for him to get first time minutes, but really we should be seeing how he fits in the puzzle. He's a soft. He's now getting to that stage where it's like either sell me, let me actually go to a place where I can be at home and know that I own the right wing position or I'm competing for the right wing position, because there's nobody else who's there, in my opinion, who's worthy to be competing with Antony for that right wing position other than Pelistri. For real. I know Ahmad is a bright prospect, but seriously. But to the first part of your question, Jarvis, Sancho, Ten Hag is really set on putting Sancho in a centrally position. And honestly, I didn't see Sancho cooking. I didn't see him cooking. I think he still needs to learn. He's still not really quite settled yet. But that's also like on the rest of the team, though. It's not just Sancho. So at the end of the day, we will see what happens versus Wolves, because Rasmus Hojlund is not going to be available for a while, for a couple of weeks. So we're definitely going to have a moment where we try Rashford on the left, and then most likely it's going to be Sancho, because we all know that Mr. Glass Martial, looks like nobody's coming to buy this broken glass. Poe says the thing is, we know Rihanna will be so high, so our defense can't afford to play those suicidal passes. That's the learning moment for Diogo Dalot. And you saw how the way Wan-Bissaka was chewing his gum. You know, Wan-Bissaka also has made that similar mistake, though, that similar pass, I think, versus Dortmund. And it was also a costly error. We just lost possession and then conceded. And at the end of the day, everybody makes mistakes. Everybody deserves to make a mistake. Nobody's perfect. You know, that's the truth. Whether we like it or not, nobody's perfect. So we have to let the players learn. We have to let the players have a moment to mess up, and another moment to mess up, and then another moment to mess up, and then we can start being like, hold on. This is more than two now. This is more than three, you know. But at the end of the day, you know, Jarvis is definitely more than three, not because of Onana, but because of the sloppiness of our fullbacks. More than 3 goals is what we're going to concede, says Jarvis. Jeez. This is wild. I really hope it is. Yeah, I mean, there is a lot of really, really good players that can chip a ball in the Premier League. So at the end of the day, there's going to be more than 3. 50% says more than 3, 25% says 3, and 25% says below 3. This is crazy. Yeah. Onana. We hope that the team does not fall down and just drop their heads if it's a competitive game versus, say, like Liverpool, and we're at Anfield. We can't let our mentality sink. I love the way Onana just picked up the ball and said, I'm going to go with confidence and move on with it. Posts Maguire. Maguire would ricochet. He'll divert the criticism in that situation. That's so big up to Onana's mentality of claiming responsibility and saying, I am the big man at the back. We love that. Andre Onana, we stand behind you. At the same time, as I'm from Africa, I gotta say, there's been, I think there's been 9 Africans who played for United. I think I had a list of them somewhere. And my goodness, I've been wanting my African brothers to succeed at Manchester United, but woo, it's been rough. It's been rough. By the way, sidebar, on this day, 4 years ago, we at Manchester United bought a fridge to Man United. On this day, 4 years ago, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer brought Harry Maguire. Oh, Lord. Who fooled us into buying Harry Maguire? Lord have mercy. Anyway, that was just a sidebar, but I was looking for the Africans that have been to Old Trafford. My goodness. At the end of the day, everybody is their own individual. You can make it a continental thing and say, because this African succeeded, this one did not succeed. You know what I mean? But I still couldn't help it. And I was like, let me just see how my African brothers have done at Man United. It did not look good. I just gotta say. So first of all, we had Quinton Fortune. You may remember Quinton Fortune. Jarvis, definitely you remember Quinton Fortune because he was playing in 1999. And you know how he did? He got 11 goals for Man United, which is, I wouldn't say call that a success story. We had Erik Jemba in 03. He got 2 goals for United. Oh, Lord. We had a guy called Manucho from Angola. You say who? I said Manucho. Nobody knows him, but he was there. He scored 0 goals, appeared 3 times. We had Mame Diouf from Senegal, scored 1 goal. We had Wilfred Zaha, scored 0 goals. My goodness, we had Bailly, obviously. Bailly still there. We had Igalo, we got and what's his name? Hannibal as well. So anyway, all these guys are obviously outfield players, but Onana already has 2 goals. No, 3 goals to his name. Oh, no, but he's not crying about it. It's hard to compare outfield players with a goalkeeper, of course. But at the end of the day, I really, really hope that he's going to be the African with the success story. Poe is like, Lord have mercy. Yo, I just want to end the show today by just saying that game, at the end of the day, was good for us to see Man United win and to get back to winning ways because we could not handle 4 losses, preseason losses in a row. That would have been too much. That would have actually maybe started to breed a little bit of, lack of confidence in our squad. There would have been a little bit of a just a little bit of like, we don't really, really know if we're ready to transition into this type of football yet. But we go in with more confidence. Wolves, when we see Wolves. Matter of fact, tomorrow, I hope the young boys, also just channel a little bit of this positivity and play well in Dublin. But the main game is obviously versus Wolves. We want to make sure we start off strong, start off on the front foot. The way our midfield trio was getting run through tonight, earlier on today, I did not like that. It felt like we're not compact enough. We're so stretched that, it's no surprise though. Mason Mount brings a lot of energy, a lot of legs, but it's not necessarily like he's got good tackling. It's not necessarily like he actually, adds defensive stability. We lacked a little bit of that in the middle. There was too many final third entries for me. I know the scoreline says 3-1, but for me, Lens, if they had clinical shooters, like remember that first moment, actually, I think it was around the 12th minute. We're not imposing ourselves. They had the first chance. And if there was an actual person that knows how to shoot, that ball could have been a worldie of a goal. And then it could have been in the back of the net, and also Onana also had to make a save like around the 17th minute. And that position that the number 20 from Lens was shooting from, if that's Odegaard, Onana is not making a comfortable save. That's all I'm saying. So if we meet a clinical team, we risk, and we play the same way that we play today, we risk really letting a game making a mountain to climb for ourselves. So I hope that the rest of the midfield can catch up to Casemiro, because Casemiro defensively today, he was back. The field marshal was back. Anyway, I love the fact that Arteta Spursy is in the building. Poe, Jarvis, I have to say, it's time for me to say tomorrow we will be back when Manchester United plays. Spursy says the Norwegian. Oh, no. No. Big up, botswanapapi. Just see you live, and the video title is Classic Arsenal. Yo, Spursy, you absolutely. He's been hiding. I know. We have to. If Spursy has a very, very attractive neighbor. So if you've been outside the house doing yard work because you're trying to meet your neighbor, we understand. I'm not gonna be mad at that. I'll be like, I understand.
I can see what they're doing, what he's doing. I can see it, I feel it. He's cooking.
Tomorrow we'll see you. We out of here. Peace.